Hello, and welcome to our latest episode of Women Crush Wednesday series. My name is Tiffany Presney, and I am founder of 1Source Management Consulting, and we are the home of Peaceful Project Management. Today, I will be talking to Miss Kiana White, librarian extraordinaire with the Prince George's County System. Kiana is a fresh face in the library system, and she is here to talk about her own journey as well as to share some of the resources that the library has for busy professionals and business owners like myself. Welcome, Kiana.
Thank you for having me.
Hey. So our first question, my first question for you, will just be the how did you get here question. How did you get into your career as a professional librarian?
Okay, so when I was in college, my first work study job was working in the library. And I did that for all of my years in undergrad. So that was 4 years of working in the library. And once I graduated, I was like, what can I get a job in? What do I have experience in? And I was like, oh, libraries. Let me see if I can get into a library job. And I went into an academic library for a university. And then from the university, while I was at the university library, I got my degree in library science. I have a master's in library science. And then from there, I switched from academic libraries to public libraries. And I've been working at public libraries for about 5 years now.
That's excellent. So, if you are going to be a professional librarian, having your master's in library science is a prerequisite.
Yes, if you want the title of librarian, yes, you need a master's degree. However, for public libraries in particular, and also academic libraries, you don't necessarily need to go straight for a master's degree in order to get into libraries. There are positions that don't require the master's degree. You won't be called a librarian, but you'll be in libraries, get your foot in the door just to see how it is, to see if it's actually a career path for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually recommend testing it out first to see if it's something that, if it's a career path that you feel strongly about, before you fork over all of that money to pay for a degree. And then you get stuck and you're like, oh, I don't like this. So I would definitely test it out. You do not need a master's degree to work in libraries.
Okay, so you don't need a master's degree to work in the library, but you do need a master's degree to be officially a librarian.
Yes, in order to have the title of librarian, you do need to have a master's degree. If you do not have a master's degree, you'll be called something else like a library associate, or a circulation assistant, which is the people that you normally see at the front desk are usually circulation. But yeah, you don't need the master's to work in the library, but you do need a master's in order to have the title of librarian, which is what I have.
Nice, nice. So, as you were going through your own process to become a professional librarian, can you talk about some of the challenges that you faced along the way? And I would say, there anything that surprised you about being a librarian or becoming a librarian?
I think what first surprised me is that you needed a master's to be a librarian. So that was a shock to me just going in, because you don't think that that's something that you actually need to have the title of librarian, but it is. So that was a surprise for me. But I honestly don't think it was that many challenges for me personally, but except for like the money. It does cost a lot of money to get a degree in library science. However, there are some workarounds with that. If you, again, I was at an academic library where I started. If you happen to work at an academic library that has a library science field for the school, sometimes you can get tuition reimbursement for that. That did not happen with me. The school that I was working at did not have a library science program. So I had to go outside of that school, and I did have to pay out of pocket. But if you can find one that has a tuition reimbursement, I would go that route.
Okay, that's good advice. That's good advice. Speaking of advice, that was one very good tip. If there's somebody who is looking into becoming a librarian? I know I've got a couple tips so far, which are one, definitely work in the library prior to pursuing that master's degree. And I know you said if you are going that route, then to also look for a school that has library science
Yes.
and has a academic library to see if there could be some tuition reimbursement.
Yes, exactly.
Definitely. Do you have any other tips for anyone looking to go into library science?
First, figure out which, so librarianship is a very broad field. There's a lot of different types of libraries that you can work in. So do some research, figure out which type of librarian you would like to be, and then figure out how to plan your education around that. So again, if you're trying to if you want to be a public librarian, make sure that whatever program you're looking at has a focus on public librarianship, or if you're trying to go academic route, or even archives or specialist libraries, figure out what that is and figure out if the program that you're looking at has classes that are towards that.
Okay. So I must say we have to talk about some of the cool resources that exist in the library. I have a huge love for libraries, both as a younger person. That was like definitely a space that I loved to be in when I was younger, because it was a place where, for the most part, no one was telling me what to do. And I felt like I had this whole world at my fingertips in the form of books and everything else. Now, as a professional, and especially as a business owner who works remotely, I love to work in the library if I'm not going to be at, my own home office. I like to do the room rentals if I need to, or the study room rentals, but I feel like I know I'm just scratching the surface of what exists there. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the library has to offer to professionals?
So like you said, we do offer study rooms, group study rooms or single study rooms, which are free to use as long as you have a library card. And you can rent those for 2 hours for one reservation per day. And again, that is one of our most popular resources because it's a free room. If you need more space, then maybe like between 2 and 6 people, you can go to our larger meeting rooms, which you do have to pay for those rooms. So we have that. We also offer free Wi-Fi, of course. So you can bring your laptop in and get hooked up that way. We also have mobile hotspots. So if maybe you don't have internet at home, but you want to check out something for your home device, or maybe you're waiting for your internet to be installed, but you have your own laptop or what have you, you can check out mobile hotspots from the library. We also now offer Chromebooks. So if you don't have a laptop, you can get a Chromebook from us that comes with its own mobile hotspot. So we got you on the internet access.
Very nice, very nice. Talk about some of those training courses that you guys have access to as well.
Yes. So with the library card, you have access to all of our online resources. One of those resources, which I love very much, is LinkedIn Learning, which is formerly lynda.com, for those who don't know that. But that is a great resources of video series that almost anything that you can think of, they have a course on LinkedIn Learning that you can learn literally almost anything. So if you want to do any of the Microsoft Word, Office, Excel, if you want to learn a programming language, they have audio editing, video editing. So they have courses for literally everything.
Oh, I love
it.
I love it.
And one thing about LinkedIn Learning as well is that they offer certificates. So, and if you have an account with LinkedIn for like your resume, you can get a certificate that will automatically populate to your resume on LinkedIn.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice. Okay. That's a lot of information. And I thank you for sharing it with us. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Kiana. Okay, so last question is the question that I ask everyone, because I know that you have a demanded job. It requires a lot from you. How do you achieve peace with balancing the demands of work along with all of your other personal responsibilities?
I would say trying to plan your time out is probably the best way of doing that. Making sure you take time for yourself. So I have a job where I have set hours. So I'm working a pretty traditional, like 9 to 5 job, although library hours we do have late days. But I don't have to take my work home with me. So I don't. And I do my best not to take work home with me. That is the rule that I have for myself. If I did not get it done at work, it's just not getting done for that day. And that's okay. As long as I plan and manage my time and make time to actually get it done during like my work week, then that's okay. If I got to put it off for like a day. But yeah, I just don't take any work home with you if possible.
I don't know how to do that. I do not know how to do that. We're gonna work on that because I don't know how to do that at all. Yeah. Oh, Kiana, well, thank you so much. This is this is our second interview that we're doing on location in New Orleans. And I am so glad that once again I have the coolest friends and that they are really like not just very intelligent, but also purposeful, like purpose driven.
Spoiler alert, Tiffany is all of those things as well.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.